This is our project on how climate change affects the penguins. Unfortunately, a major penguin habitat is quickly warming up.
The Antarctic Peninsula,
the northernmost region that points towards South America, is the fastest warming region in the southern hemisphere. Due to the increase in temperature, sea ice along this peninsula is rapidly shrinking and the season for ice is shorter. And penguins love to play in the snow! The loss of sea ice is harmful to emperor penguins, adults, and chicks. Emperor penguins raise their chicks on sea ice, but if the ice breaks before the chicks have grown and their waterproof feathers have come out, any chicks caught in the ocean are unfortunately likely to die. An increased mortality due to lower food supply will affect the adult penguins. Declining penguin populations. The emperor colony in East Antarctica, the ones in March of the Penguins, have had a decrease of more than 50% in population due to a warm period with small amounts of ice cover. Because sea ice percentages are decreasing, the increased blizzard season can cause chick mortality. In the Antarctic Peninsula, a different colony of emperor penguins have suffered a drastic decrease from 250 pairs to 10 pairs due to lack of sea ice. Adelie populations. The Adelie penguin population has been affected by the rise in temperature. The Adelies raise their chicks in nests made of pebbles on few shorelines free of ice and snow. Because of the rise in temperature, the air can hold more moisture and it snows more, making nesting spots harder to find. The loss of sea ice is also affecting the Adelie's food source. As ice levels decrease, chinstrap and gentoo penguins are moving into Adelie breeding areas, replacing them. Both emperor penguins and Adelie penguins face a bleak future from global climate change. According to a study done by researchers, a temperature increase of only 1.3 degrees Celsius will jeopardize 40% of the world's emperor penguins and 70% of the world's Adelie penguins, largely due to lack of ice. Scientists also predict that a loss of sea ice due to climate change will push the March of the Penguins, emperor penguins, to the edge of extinction. For penguins that live in the Southern Ocean, global climate change is having major effects. Warming of the ocean and melting of the ice have assisted in the decline of Arctic krill, penguins' major food source. Krill in the Atlantic Ocean section of the Southern Ocean have declined as much as 80%, and a 1 degree rise in ocean temperature could inflict a 95% drop in population. This decrease would have disastrous effects on the macaroni penguins, who have already had a 2% decline in population.
As you know, penguins love when it's cold. Penguins are used to the cold, unlike us who hate cold. Over the past 50 years, the population of Arctic emperor penguins has declined by 50%. The warmer the air and sea surface temperatures are, then it will reduce the amount of ice in the sea. The global climate change can affect and harm the penguins, because if the ice starts to melt, then the penguins won't have anywhere to lay their eggs and they could die. Shrinking levels of ice. The population decreased because of the low rates of survival over the past 4 to 5 years. Even though if the ice starts to melt, it will increase food supply but also decrease hatching of new eggs. As seawater temperature starts to decrease in the early 1880s. Now, what would happen when a male penguin and a female penguin mate? Then it will produce an egg. Then usually after the mom, what would happen is, usually after the mom would give birth to the penguin, the mom would go out over all the ice until she hits water to find food to feed her eggs. But sometimes the mom can be gone for months because there's so much ice. But meanwhile, the dad stays back and protects the eggs and keeps them warm at normal temperature. But eventually, if the mom's gone for months, the dad will give in to his hunger and abandon or eaten the eggs, and he will leave. Acidification decreases penguins' food supply. Our greenhouse gases are also causing the oceans to become acidic, which threatens the entire ocean's food. The ocean absorbs carbon dioxide, and the acidity of the ocean has increased by 30%. Penguins won't be able to lay their eggs at all, and the existing eggs will eventually dissolve, which leaves all animals no way to survive. How can we protect penguins from decreasing? We can protect penguins by reducing global greenhouse gases, because that is the most important action needed to protect penguins from climate change. If we continue our current courses, then the global temperatures will rise by an average of 2 to 8.4 degrees Celsius in this century. Ocean walls will become corrosive from the depth to the surface, and Antarctic seas will disappear to accelerating rates. Now, if you excuse us,
We must get back to our penguin lives.